Hello, salutations. What do you do? Start the gamer off out of the gang, the vibes like crowd. Let's get it. And welcome once again to the AfterShow Podcast. Sorry to disappoint you, everyone. Miller is not here, but we have well, not almost as good, but adequate replacement in our usual co-host, JayShockblast. How you doing, Mr. Shockblast? Back from his business trip.
The disrespect is not appreciated, but I'm here. I'm the new world champion. I smelled what The Rock was cooking.
You did.
And yeah, it was a good trip, man. I went out to Salt Lake City, Utah.
Home of the Mormons.
Yeah, it was actually a very clean city. Very nice. Can't complain. And I got to take part in WWE 2K24 Community Day. Look at this. All right. I know some people have seen it on Twitter, but
this isn't Twitter, Jay. And this
I know.
is for the people who are listening. JayShockblast is holding up a
WWE
belt.
My custom WWE 2K24 case. I also did one with Uncaged Games.
Yep, it is a Xbox. So sorry ahead of time for PlayStation players. This hurt your eyes. It's an Xbox case with JayShockblast on it, holding a championship belt, and he's got fellow content creators on it.
It's
very
so nice. It was awesome, man. We got to hang out with some of the superstars. I got to meet Montez Ford.
Don't know.
I got to meet Xavier Woods.
I heard that name before.
Yeah, he does up, up, down, down. So you see him. He does a lot of stuff with Greg Miller.
Heard that name before.
Yeah. I also met Dakota Kai and Zelina Vega. So that was great. Missed out on Grayson Waller. But it's all good. And then we got to go to SmackDown, and airing right now on the USA Network is the second episode of SmackDown. They taped after we were there live last week. The Rock showed up, so it was a good time. Long flight out there. It was crazy, but we made it.
First class business.
I wish. Listen. I looked up the flights, okay, because I was curious. There were only 3 direct flights from Boston to Salt Lake City.
Tough.
And I'm fortunate they put me on one of those, but like they were booked. And one of them I was in a middle seat. I was like, ew. Fortunately, I got switched off of it. So
almost nothing worse in life than sitting in the middle seat of an airplane.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it was a good time. I got to hang out with Uncaged a lot. Got to meet a lot of other WWE creators. They are really fun to be around. They all know each other, and they go pretty crazy. It's very loud.
Seems fun.
Yeah, so cool stuff. Got to the Utah Jazz. I was so sad because the flight that I was on didn't get in until really late. Like I got in like 11 Mountain Time, and the Jazz were playing the Warriors. And I wanted to go, and like everybody else pretty much went that was already there. But I did get to see the Stockton and Malone statues, so that was pretty cool.
Well, the Stockton one. I wouldn't celebrate seeing a statue of Karl Malone.
I mean,
after what we know.
fair. Fair.
I'm surprised that statue still standing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's actually crazy it hasn't been torn down. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's still something that they don't actually like try to acknowledge.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you dodge it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the NBA did a great job because holy bro, they just kept that right under the rug.
Yeah, I feel like at this point nobody cares.
I mean, good thing Malika Andrews wasn't a broadcaster back then. She would have never let that one go.
They really but you're right, D Savage. They really like legitimately like act like it did not happen, you know? Yeah. And I think he had a kid with the girl or something, right?
Yeah.
And like it's very clear to prove it's his kid and how old she was when she had it.
Whew. It's not like this happened in like the 30s. This is the 90s.
Was it the 90s? I thought it was the 80s, but yeah.
It was
either way.
It was in the modern era.
Yeah. Yeah. Had a kid and doesn't claim it. Yeah. I think I saw like a story about it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, you know, listen, back in the NBA Jam days, that was one of the teams you wanted to be.
Yeah, oh yeah, great. I mean, can't deny the effectiveness of that pick and roll, but
he rolled a lot of other things apparently.
Yeah, I'm out of all the jerseys someone might have. Yeah, imagine if you got like a rare Karl Malone autograph jersey, and then you happen to just Google him one day and stumbled upon that. It's like, oh no.
I do have to give credit to when we were going through security, when we were going in, they had us go through the metal detector, and I was wearing my Celtics hat because shout outs to Cornell from 2K. He's awesome. I
thought you were going to say Cornell West. I was like, oh really? You met
Cornell West? That is. Yeah.
You don't know who Cornell West is?
Not off the top of my head.
Jesus Christ, Jay. We need to culture you.
Okay. Well, anyway, I wore my Celtics hat because he's a big Miami Heat fan, and we kind of go back and forth sometimes on Twitter. He's basically like one of the main people for the WWE 2K series, and I wore my Celtics hat, you know, just to kind of have fun with it. And as I'm going through security, one of the security guards is like older guy, and he's like, "Oh, take off your hat." And I'm like, that makes sense. I take it off. He looks at it. He goes, all right, now throw it in the trash.
As you should.
I was like, oh, that's a pretty good one. He's like, oh, I hope we play you in the playoffs this year. I'm like, hey, I'll take it. That's the finals. So
yeah, great joke because Boston obviously will not be in the finals this year. So
I mean, listen, it could happen. It could not happen. We'll see. We just need to get to the tournament. Let the chips fall where they may. But
before JayShockblast rudely interrupted, we were in a process of saying hello to the chat. Billy Finn was the first here. Congratulations to Billy Finn. Better luck next time, everyone else. I also shout out Simple J, Capte, Last of Understanding, D Savage, Roderick, Hoarder Gamer, Mikey Dykes, Nava Flow, our fellow fighter of freedom and democracy, Hoarder Gamer, Digital Variable. Appreciate everyone coming through and hanging out tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk a little Spider-Man 2 because we got another update about New Game Plus. Some new details emerged in a PlayStation blog. We also are going to talk about Suicide Squad, which is incapable of avoiding controversy at this point.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough.
It is tough. They also today dropped a new developer blog, as they have been doing every week, and they had some interesting things. Not necessarily everything people enjoyed, but there's they're still communicating, so that's at least great. They're still talking to the community, talking about fixing stuff. So that's better than not fixing stuff and then not saying anything for months on end. So that's improvement from Avengers. But yeah, their next patch has got to be a dub or oof. We're also going to talk, speaking of fighting for freedom, we're also going to talk a little Helldivers 2 because I got Jay to turn in his hater card and suit up one last time for Super Earth, and I think we got him hooked. I think we got him back on.
Hooked is a word.
Hooked. At least we've roped him into committing to playing some more.
Yeah, I don't know where we want to start, but I think my biggest problem with that game is like what it gets away with that people will not let other games get away with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Partially. I mean, in terms of the gaming press, obviously there's bias there because it's a Sony game, and certain publishers aren't going to criticize certain games as much as they would. But as someone who played it, I'll bet for only 3 hours, I can understand the appeal. It is for the most part a really good game. It's got great memes, great humor, but it definitely captured the feel. I think that's a big thing. It captured the feel of a live service game, that sense of community, having the whole premise in lieu of an actual, story campaign. You're basically jumping right into the actual campaign, which is you're pretty straightforward. You're a soldier for Super Earth. You enlist, you go, you help spread democracy across the galaxy.
I don't know about you. I was spreading communism.
Well, the rest of us are spreading democracy. Jay's trying to push his commie gobbledygook, and you're
give me a good sickle.
Yeah, and everyone is doing their part. Everyone's contributed, and they even reflect this in the missions that are available and the enemies that are around currently. Last I checked, there's 2 main enemy factions that we're currently fighting and pushing against, and the community pushes back, and then new enemies will emerge as we find new planets to attempt to liberate and bring freedom to. So I get the appeal, and I think we've seen this with a lot of games. If you get a core, and in the case of Helldivers 2,
that made me chuckle.
Yeah, Jay is definitely spreading some anti-super propaganda. We don't appreciate it.
Listen,
but
I'm the Kyrie Irving of Helldivers.
True. Some of the stuff you said would definitely get you suspended from. I think even I was reading in the broadcast, even not paying attention to the broadcast is considered treason. So better watch what you say, Jay. Don't want to get turned in. But in general, if you give your player something enough to enjoy, they'll overlook a lot of stuff. We've seen this in pretty much every game. Like, it's just like, even in the case of Avengers, like we called them the shills or whatever. If there's always going to be a core of people who are going to overlook a game's flaws. It's just when a game has a lot of people that are generally satisfied with it, then they're going to have more, and there's just going to be more people. It just seems more pronounced than it would normally be. So because Rocksteady had a core audience who only wanted one type of game, which is Batman single player, they didn't get the benefit of doubt going in, and then they just, different decisions that they made people just not, in general, just not support.
Now, is it actually in the Starship Troopers universe?
Is it
adjacent, or just?
It's very much a parody.
Okay.
Of a which of what was already a parody.
Gotcha. No, I wasn't sure like what it was supposed to be, but like they're just Now, first of all, Suicide Squad has earned some L's, all right? And you and I are probably 2 of the biggest supporters of the game. Like, we love the game when it works, but like it's just gotten worse since launch. And my issue though is that there are people that act like Helldivers is reinventing the wheel, when it is literally the most basic of games. Okay, there's not like this huge refreshing thing about it, other than it's got a little bit of humor to it. Like, it's literally, you drop down, you shoot the same thing over and over and over again, and then you go back and do the same thing on a slightly different looking planet. Like, these are the things that, like, even like Starfield got criticized for, you know? Like, I mean, I know they're different games, but like,
yeah, and that's the thing. That's the other thing about it. Expectations versus what was promised. Like, there weren't really many expectations for Helldivers. Like, Helldivers had the first one had a small dedicated fan base. They enjoyed it. And then for this one, if you looked at marketing, it was mainly, oh, this is basically memeing the Starship Troopers thing. But other than that, we didn't really know much about it. They didn't really go into that much detail. It was like they didn't overpromise anything. And they've just gotten, just in general, a lot of goodwill. So I understand why people are going to overlook things, because you're right. It's not that it's reinventing the wheel.
Right.
It's that it's not doing the things that have turned off people from live service games.
Yeah.
It didn't overpromise. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It does basic things, but it does them very well. Like, it's not the most creative gunplay we've ever seen, but the weapons are really good. They're the sound design, everything is very satisfying. It's impactful. It looks really cool, especially when you blow stuff up, and you can do really cool, funny things. Like, it's got that whole Baldur's Gate 3 appeal. Remember,
like when I immediately load in and just shoot you in the head.
Exactly. Like, it's got that fun where it's like, it's not on rails. Like, a lot of people enjoy Baldur's Gate 3 because not just for the bear sex, but because you could pretty much go into interactions, because everything was so interactable, and you can defeat enemies in a variety of different ways. You can set up explosive barrels, you can make people trip and fall downstairs. So the fact that it feels more realistic in a way, even though it's so over the top, I think it appeals to that, because you don't need to just, okay, like for Suicide Squad, for example, it's like, okay, we got a brute enemy. Okay, so he's got like 3 different health bars, and you have to do the melee to break the armor, and then you have to do the guns to shield harvest and trigger that, and then you have to pop your abilities to wear it down, and also, whereas with Helldivers, it's more simple, but it feels in a lot of ways more satisfying and realistic, because you got a big bug. It's like, okay, well, you shoot it out. Oh, its legs are falling. Oh, its legs are coming off. Okay, now it's struggling to walk. Or I call down some reinforcements. It drops right on their head, and they're done. Like, the cool interactions. It makes all the difference, and that's the sort of thing that leads people to creating TikToks and memes, and that spreads the message and the game. It makes it seem like it's just a fun, good time, and that just contributes to the good vibes. That's what it is, just good vibes.
Yeah, and I definitely enjoyed playing it, you know, like with everybody, and we had a good time, and like time definitely went by. But I felt that exact same way when Suicide Squad was working, and I was playing with friends, and I was told I was lying. And I think this is a me issue. Like, I just feel like a little bit of bitterness that, like, I had this tweet that went like viral for whatever reason, that like, I'm just having fun playing the game, you know?
Yep.
And that's all I see from people when they talk about Helldivers. Yet I had like angry nerds in my mentions. You're lying. You shell. They paid you.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to like games unless other people say that you can like the game. That's
right.
Yeah, because that. Yeah,
and it's not fair to Helldivers that they're making me feel that way, because I'm seeing like these same people that just a week ago were saying that Suicide Squad was repetitive, and they're going into this game saying, "Oh, it's just fun."
Yeah, exactly. I played for 3 hours, but I got the gist of it. You're fighting you're fighting you're fighting bugs on a on a foggy alien planet, or robots on a foggy alien planet. And you're going to destroy eggs, or you're going to activate a base, or whatever. It is repetitive, as all these games are, but people are willing to overlook it because the problem is that you're describing people, and this is generally become a problem with gaming discourse, is that these aren't good faith people who are criticizing the game. They're just toxic fanboys. A lot of them are also, don't forget, Suicide Squad also got caught up in the culture war. So you have all those grifters and their supporters who are involved, because they don't even play those people don't even play games, really.
Their game is Twitter.
Yeah, their game is Twitter. They're here to just complain because it's because they're whoever they're following and giving money to told them it's woke. So they're there to complain about that. They don't care about the actual game. They've never played it. They're just there because they think they're fighting the good fight for the culture. And then you have the toxic fanboys who are literally just mad because they just want to play a single player Batman game, so they can also bitch about that like they did for Arkham Knight. But that's all they want.
I really and truly hope there is never another Batman Arkham game, with all my soul.
Well, Rocksteady clearly didn't want to make it. That's why we're here.
And I mean, listen, it's a really bad week to like say anything nice about Suicide Squad. I do still love the game. I guess the turning off crossplay does not solve as much as we hoped it would. You said you were. Yeah. I played three rounds.
Is that all you did? How long did you play? How long?
Like a half hour.
I'll see. I played for 2 hours plus, 2 hours plus. So first thing I did was I turned off crossplay, and then I did Raising Hell up to tier 3, and that triggered and once I finished tier 2, that immediately triggered the loading in the Metropolis bug. So I was like, okay, right off the bat, doesn't work. So I was like, all right, let me test it out on incursions. So I did a couple incursions, and then I made a bet with the chat. Let's see, over under two or more. We'll go over under 2. And most of them thought, oh, we're going to go together. So it's, and I was like, I said probably 3 or 4 will probably run into the bug. And after completing 3 on the 4th one, they had the loading Metropolis bug, and that was consistent throughout the stream. About 3 to 4 incursions it would trigger, and that would be it. So crossplay, unfortunately, turning off, not a fix. And they said in the blog, which they, props to them for doing it. At least they said but if you read the top, it's just a list of things like they obviously are on top of it. These issues just popped up with the last patch, but they don't have any fixes for them yet. The one fix they do have for is the mastery progression bug, was preventing people from progressing to mastery. And even though that was already done, it didn't make it into the last patch, and people were wondering why. They didn't explain, which I thought they should have, but because I know, as someone who's talked to developers about this stuff, the reason why it wasn't in the patch, even though it's technically solved, is probably because they literally shipped it before they could properly test it. So because they solved it doesn't mean it's ready to be shipped, because even when they find a solution, they have to make sure the solution is tested and properly works and doesn't break anything else, and can apply in different scenarios. So, which unfortunately doesn't always pan out, especially since they appear to be doing these. Miller was running the numbers. It seems to be like they're on these 8. They were in an 8-day cycle so far for these patches in terms of creation and implementation.
And I don't disagree with this point right here. The radio silence on fixing people not being able to get in the game is really unfair. Listen, anybody that's especially still cannot get into the game, like my heart goes out to you. That's
for sure
ridiculous.
I don't know what they mean by radio silence though. They haven't been silent about it.
Yeah, they've definitely talked about my I think the way I would want to say it is they're not. WB is in like some weird pissing match with Elon Musk, like
for
at
sure.
the very, very top. And WB as a corporation is not supposed to be using Twitter.
Yeah.
And obviously that's like real. It's not just hurting Suicide Squad, it's hurting Mortal Kombat. It is a very common thing that a lot of fans of their games are complaining about is the fact that nobody is like communicating properly. But like apparently I don't want to join any more Discords, but apparently if you're on their Discord, they're like all over there, you know, and they are very vocal there.
But not even a Discord, like the Rocksteady Twitter account tweets about the not the Rocksteady, the Suicide Squad official Twitter account tweets about this stuff. That's where they post the blog every week. The Axel, the game director, he's pretty active. Derek, community manager, is pretty active on he's in the Discord, but they also are interacting on Twitter as well. But yeah, in the blog, which they linked to on Twitter today, on the official Suicide Squad Twitter account, they mention in the notes about the developer things and what they're working on, the issue about getting, making sure people log into the game. They apologized for it. They said they were able to fix it for some people, but they are still working on a bigger fix for everyone else.
Yeah, and I don't. It's one of those things where like I know they did the alpha, right? And it didn't seem to happen there. I don't think anybody ever heard of this there. Okay. So I feel like it's just one of those things that like it didn't happen in the internal environment. Well, so they would have never known about it.
To be fair, they did not have mastery levels in the alpha.
Oh, okay. Remember, well, I'm talking about the login issue.
Yeah, the login issue that could have been I think that's might just be a sample size issue because we don't know how many people were in the alpha.
Right. And I just don't think it's something they would have ever been able to find until the game was in the live environment. And that's a thing that happens. And they genuinely, from what I've seen, they genuinely seem blindsided by it.
That's why I feel like they should have done an open beta to like be on the safe side, but because it could have happened, for all we know, it could have been perfectly fine on the build that they gave. Because remember, I think the alpha build they said was an older build, and they could have tested. I feel like they should have done an open beta on the most recent build of the game just to make sure everything was a-okay and working out well. But yeah, the people who played the alpha, we only got to go up to the start of what was supposed to be the Green Lantern chapter or the Flash chapter. We didn't get to fight the Flash. We didn't get to fight anyone. We only a Justice League member we encountered to fight was the Batman Arkham Museum thing, where he just took us out. So we didn't get to test the end game at all. So that's something that couldn't be avoided, but that was probably going to blindside them anyway. But I just feel like if they had done an open beta with the most recent build of the game, they might have caught some stuff. But maybe they didn't want to. Maybe WB didn't want them to do that because maybe I don't know. They are like, oh well, if we find something that's really wrong, and then that could maybe that affects pre-orders. Maybe we have to delay. They didn't want to. They obviously didn't want to have to delay the game again, but. Yeah, it just feels like this is like not a great scenario because you're in a situation where season 1 being roughly a month away seemed okay before launch, but then when you got to the core game, saw what the end game was, and then saw all the issues people were having, you're just like, ooh, that's a long way.
Yeah, especially because I really and truly thought that the game would be longer. Like I thought there would be more story chapters.
Yeah.
I thought we would fight more Justice League. Like, I mean, 4 Justice League members. And I understand they're doing seasons. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that gets added on, but it just feels light, and that's a valid criticism.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fair criticism for the game. I still love it, but man, I can't believe that we didn't have like, it didn't have to be Aquaman. You could have like Hawk Girl and like Cyborg.
Aquaman's in the game, like in the universe at least. They mentioned him in Task Force. So the fact that he's not involved, that fact that he wasn't involved is like maybe they're.
And I feel like we're gonna see him eventually, but like I really feel like this game needed 2 more bosses, and like it's having the same Avenger issues.
There's absolutely no way WB is walking away with that conclusion. Single player narrative experience are the way. There's absolutely no way they're walking away.
Like, and I'm just so sick of people complaining about live service and like the live service is not the reason this game is having issues.
You realize the biggest new game in the world is a live service game. WB just released a live service game last year. It's one of their Mortal Kombat. It's one of their most successful franchises on their entire books. It is a live service game. They're not walking away with the conclusion, oh, I guess we got to stop making live service games. No, they're not doing that.
Yeah, like I think people fail to realize that like live service is not some like catch-all thing. You know, like there are a lot of games that are games as a service in general. Mortal Kombat is struggling right now, but it sold like hotcakes out the gate. You know, like they started with like a 2 million install base. You know, I think it's over 3 million sales. Like it's one of the highest selling fighting games. You know, like it outsold Street Fighter 2-1.
Yeah, it's under obviously, and obviously they had to delay some stuff and people had some issues with it, but
it has issues. I'm annoyed.
But people are right back hyped again as soon as they saw the Peacemaker trailer, so it doesn't matter, and they're going to buy that, and the game is more monetized than Suicide Squad is. So we're just talking about pure sales numbers, but they've also made a lot of money on the microtransactions within the game. It's a successful game. Like it's just undeniable.
Yeah, for sure. And I see that your tweet is doing numbers about Arkham Knight. Like Arkham Knight is the poster child for the superhero game as a service. All right,
100%. And the reason why people are arguing is not only because they don't know what games as a service means, they keep confusing it with a live service game because they can't be bothered to Google basic definitions, but they don't want to admit that one of their favorite games follows the model that they've been told to hate.
Right, like games as a service and live service are like adjacent to each other, right? But like the term games as a service, like you put out this single player experience and then there's a service added onto it where there was a season pass and there were all these extra DLC modules you could download and buy.
Yep, new characters,
optional,
new story, optional. If you wanted to play with new characters and new story, you didn't have to. But if you did want to, you give them money.
Yeah, and I understand people being cheap and not feeling like, oh, I shouldn't have to buy anything else. But like, do you want to play something else? Like, I don't understand. Like, do you want to wait another 9 years to like get your next Batman game? I know they put the other ones out faster, but for whatever reason, it took as long as it did to make this one.
You remember buying a Keaton Batman skin and access to like 10 to 15 different missions in Arkham Knight?
Yeah, like I remember in Arkham City, I think it was, buying a can of Nas energy drink just so I could get the Batman Beyond skin. Like let's not pretend that this is something new to Rocksteady. Like they like showed the way. You know what I mean? Like
it's not new for WB as a whole. I mean, look at the Middle Earth Shadow of War game.
Yeah,
like that game literally had loot boxes. They just don't understand because they don't understand what it means. And you can see in the comments they say they immediately conflate a live service game with games as a service. Games as a service, in the most simple, even a gamer can understand terms, is that they are getting players to spend money after their initial purchase, or and come back to the game to increase the sales cycle and player engagement. Now, the application of the games as a service model can be done to make a game full live servers, where they go fully committed to optimizing player engagement and post-purchase monetization, or if a free-to-play model, monetization to support the free-to-play model. But if they just want to have aspects of it, just borrow a little bit of it, just use that same model, then it'll be a much more scaled down thing, like Spider-Man PS4 or Arkham, or to a more extreme degree, Arkham Knight. Like Arkham Knight technically has more monetization than Suicide Squad does.
Yeah. And nobody, like, I lived through Arkham Knight, all right? I have thousands and thousands, if not millions of views on my Arkham Knight videos. People did not like Arkham Knight when it came out. It also had a lot of problems, especially on PC, all right? And everybody hated the Batmobile, and they just bitched about that incessantly. And now we're looking back on it through rose-colored glasses, and I'm just seeing everybody act like it's like peak gaming. And it was a great game. I loved it. I had the PS4 for it, the Batman PS4. I had the collector's edition. Like, these games made me like Batman more than any other form of media, Batman media, like, so I don't know, man. It's just weird for me. I like, would I like to get things included with the game? Yeah, absolutely. But let's not forget that, like, all this stuff that they're putting out it's not really stripped from the game. It's extra stuff that they make that you pay for so the game can keep going, And I think that's the thing that people forget. Like, if I like a game, I want it to last as long as it can. Yes, and I want to keep getting content for it.
Most people think that.
I look back to Mass Effect 3, and they had this like co-op online mode that was pretty basic. It was, but you had like different classes, and you could buy like basically loot boxes, and you'd get the loot box, and you would get a gun, or you would get a class character like a Krogan, or you would get like a I'm trying to think, different version, like a sniper,
a dildo,
or you get like a specific gun or something like that.
Tiki torch,
right?
Whatever.
So, and you would get them, and like when you got one you already had, it would level it up and stuff like that, and you would take them out and you would level them up by playing. But it was a loot box based, and you would spend money on that, and I loved it, and I had no problem spending money on it because I loved playing that game. It wasn't ideal to not get what you wanted, but it made me play some classes I wouldn't have necessarily played. And then I look at Marvel Heroes Omega. Like, it's funny because like some of the biggest games ever, like you cannot talk about Marvel Heroes Omega on Twitter without somebody saying, "Oh, I missed that game. I loved it so much." Literally, but it was free to play. I know it was free to play, right? But like literally microtransaction city, and they were fair microtransactions,
but it was full of them.
It was nothing but them, but it's free to play, so it's different.
Yeah, even full price games, I have no problem. Like when I played Spider-Man PS4 for the first time, I was like, "Oh, this game is awesome. I want to play more." Oh, they have story DLC. I can play more, and I have to give them money. Okay, here.
Right.
I did the same thing for Control. I bought Control. I thought it was a great game, and then I was like, "Oh, they have paid expansions. I'll get that too." Like, I want to play more. I want to play more of the game. I want more of the story.
And I know we're probably going to talk about this, but like I feel bad for Insomniac, who like has conditioned their fans into thinking that like they'll never have to spend any money on their game outside of their game. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. They've already been conditioned to do that because they had to do that with Spider-Man PS4.
Well, you would think they would remember that there was paid DLC, but if they do announce DLC and it's not free, they're going to lose their minds.
I mean, like they're losing their minds over the fly and fresh suits.
I'm actually disappointed that I'm happy that the first $1 million is going to charity and everything, but I'm actually disappointed that once that happens, that they're just gonna be like, oh, now you can have them. No, put that shit in the store, charge you $5, all right, and make your money, King. You deserve it. I don't know.
Someone say Avengers is underrated. Give it 5 years. People will be talking about Avengers like they talked about Arkham Knight. Yep. Mark my words.
It's already starting. Avengers wasn't that bad.
We're already starting in some circles. We're already seeing it. Maybe we were too hard on Avengers. Maybe Avengers under. Avengers. I just played Avengers. It wasn't that. Give it 5 years. Give it another 5 years.
I mean, I'm not comparing Suicide Squad to Spider-Man. All 3 Spider-Man games are very obviously substantially better than Suicide Squad. I don't really think that's any big take or anything. It has
nothing to do with what we said.
Yeah,
we're explaining what a games as a service means and how people have no problem buying
and also
more content for their favorite game if it means more content for their favorite game.
And also, you're definitely taking the WB execs words a little out of context.
Completely out of context.
they're upset that it wasn't Hogwarts Legacy, a fucking unicorn. To say that your expectations is for your next game to be Hogwarts Legacy is you deserve to be disappointed.
Not just the next game, the quarter. That's what people who are just parroting this out of context code are conveniently leaving out. They were disappointed that this quarter, which mainly is just Mortal Kombat, which is going to have some DLC, but came out months ago, and Suicide Squad. That's basically their game, the bulk of their games division this quarter. And they were disappointed because they were comparing it to the quarter where Hogwarts Legacy came out, which, to remind you, Hogwarts Legacy sold 18 million units in 3 weeks.
There are not many games in the history of games that have done that.
At all.
Ever.
Literally ever. It was the only game in the history of gaming to outsell Call of Duty and Rockstar.
I don't think people, for perspective, Mortal Kombat, one of the greatest fighting games of all time. I don't think the last 5 Mortal Kombats combined sold 18 million copies total.
Yeah.
We're
to put it in perspective, it took Spider-Man PS4 over 3 years to hit, which was an amazing 20 million units sold.
They did that in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So that's not that is definitely these execs being completely stupid.
Especially if you listen to the way they were talking when they were trying to explain the success of Hogwarts Legacy and how they're going to capitalize it. They were talking like they just discovered that people like video games and that they should make more video games based on the IPs that they already own. Like it was a novel idea. If you were just like, oh yeah, of course it's yes. If your expectations were, oh, this quarter is, well, we had this quarter where Hogwarts Legacy made billions of dollars in a couple of weeks. Obviously, with the Suicide Squad game, people are going to love that. I mean, it's got Harley Quinn in it. What the fuck are we talking about?
One of the reasons Hogwarts Legacy was successful is because of the culture war. Like, honestly, like that was one of the biggest parts of it.
That was literally what drove it. Like the reason why Hogwarts Legacy was successful is one, it's an established IP with a huge built-in fan base. There is not a huge built-in fan base for Suicide Squad, not even close to Hogwarts and Harry Potter. Harry Potter, as a reminder, outsold the Bible. Okay, it is a massive franchise with huge global reach, first of all. Secondly, the sales were massively boosted by the culture war because there were people on the left who were boycotting it because of the relation to J.K. Rowling, and people on the right who were buying it to support the protest as a counter to the boycott, which drove a lot more free press to the game and inflated the sales because there were literally people buying it just to own the libs. Like, to pretend that's not the case is insane.
Yeah, and listen, I get it. You don't like. We literally both just said that the story is not long enough. Okay, and I understand you don't want to play the game over the course of the year. All right, whatever.
By the way, that was also a complaint with Hogwarts Legacy. By the way, people were mad that there was no Quidditch. People were mad there was no multiplayer. They were mad there was no DLC. They wanted more stuff to do. They were mad that after there wasn't as much to do once the story was over. They wanted more content.
Like, look at Spider-Man fans that treat the Spider-Man games like they're live service games. Like, wait, the end game? There's no end game.
Really, I got so many comments today on my Spider-Man videos about people complaining that there's not enough to do at the end of the game. There's no end game. They don't have anything to do. They want to uninstall because there's nothing to do. I'm like, yeah.
They want to have their cake and eat it too, you know?
Yeah, they want a games as a service, but they don't want to call it a games as a service.
Right.
And some of them also don't want to pay for it. But they want the developers to spend
most
money
of them
to
don't
make
want to pay for it.
Yeah, they don't want to pay for it, but they want the developers to spend the money to make it. But they don't want to have to pay for it.
Well, they already bought the game.
Yeah.
What do you mean I have to buy more content? I paid for the game. Make me more. I already gave you my money.
I absolutely cannot wait to see the discourse when the Carnage DLC goes up for $10 in the PlayStation Store.
Yeah. What do you mean God of War gave it to me for free? Should not be the expectation. Like, listen, it's amazing that they did that, but that should not be.
You know what the funny thing about that is? People were literally like, I would have happily paid $20 for this. I literally saw that. Yep. People were like, why did they give this to us for free? I would have paid for this. Like, which is funny. But maybe Insomniac will make the DLC free. Who knows? I know people are gonna find a way to complain about it regardless.
Yeah, like oh my god, the discourse around the costumes. Like I don't know if you saw this. There are actually people that feel like Rocksteady should start like some kind of a fund and pay the modders instead of these people at that institute. Like, that's a real argument that people are trying to make. Like, look at the modders. The modders made the Whammy suit look so much better. You should hire them instead. You give $1 million to people to make these stupid suits. Don't like them.
Yeah, the modders would be a bit in over their head.
But the modders do that because that's what they choose to do. That's what they want to do. No one asked them to do that. Like, and yeah, they do some great work. I think it's awesome.
They do great. They do absolutely wonderful work in the comfort of their own bedrooms with no deadlines. They don't have to answer to a boss. They don't have to run anything by Marvel for approval. They don't have a section supervisor telling them what they have to do. They don't have to test it to make sure it works across every different iteration. They can take their sweet time and do whatever they want.
Yeah, so like, listen, it's a valiant idea. I get it, but like at the same time, like, give me a break.
Though they absolutely should hire Rock Rider as a designer. He's
I love Rock. You know, he's great.
He is brilliant. But yeah, this was actually just silly. You know, like the fact that I knew as soon as I read about the Flying Fresh suits, I knew somebody. I knew, and I had somebody in mind as well, and he did not disappoint. I knew somebody was going to bitch about the Flying Fresh suits being for sale temporarily. Like they even said in the blog, it'll be in the store. It's $4.99. It's for charity. Up to $1 million, Sony is going to match the purchase price. If you don't want to buy it, you don't have to, and you'll still get it for free.
Yeah, I missed that part.
Simple. Nothing controversial about it. Yeah. We partnered with this charity. We got these new suit designs. You can buy it for $4.99, and then after it runs out, which is April 5th, we will add it to the game for free. So if you want to support the cause, if you want to do that, Sony matching up to $1 million in sales, going directly to this charity. If you really just want these skins, it's $4.99. You know, if that's a lot for you, then you have much bigger problems. If you just for whatever reason you don't want to buy them, you'll get them without doing anything except download, except accepting the download on your console.
But why can't I have them right away, Sadot? I want them now, even though I hate them.
I don't like them, but I it's the principle, David. I want to put. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like shut up. If you want these Flying Fresh suits on March 7th, go mow the lawn, go shovel some snow, go ask mommy, go borrow your mom or dad's credit card, and or literally go on the street and panhandle for $4.99. I guarantee you, some homeless guy on the streets of America has $4.99. Like, come up, find a way to get $4.99 and buy
the suit. Poor Battinson's triggered. We're talking about him. Everybody's a loser.
But I don't have $4. Shut up.
You are the problem, bruh.
But I want the skins now. I'm gonna complain about them on Reddit, but I want the skins now. Why do I have to pay $5? I don't care about charity. Shut up. Go take a shower. Shut up. Go outside.
Have the day you deserve.
Like seriously, who's actually like, I understand grifters complaining about this because they need the content, whatever. But if you're doing this for free, what is wrong with you? like there's nothing. I looked at these suits, I was like, okay, I don't care about the suits. Then they said, oh, it's for charity, we're doing this. I'm like, okay, whatever, cool. I'll probably pick them up. And then when I saw people bitching, I was like, oh, I'm definitely buying them now. Out of spite. Like, I'm definitely buying them now because it's literally not. It was literally not that deep. It's $5 and you're getting them for free anyway. You could just wait and get the skins. There's nothing to complain about.
Yep. Yeah, you know, I don't know.
I mentioned in one of my streams a AAA Batman game is coming. A AAA Batman game. I don't remember.
Why you lying to that?
I don't remember saying that in the stream, but I do remember making a video about how James Gunn confirmed that Suicide Squad is not the end of the Arkhamverse.
Well, that's until I talk to him.
Well, until JayShockblast officially cancels the Arkhamverse.
Yeah, I'm
because
doing it.
he technically is James Gunn's boss, so everything ultimately has to run.
You do not deserve, if you can't support Rocksteady, when they need you, you don't get them for when you want them. I screwed that up, but you know what I'm saying.
Jay has spoken. If you want more Batman games, you have to go through Jay.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
It's basically
how that works.
Yeah.
But there is more. But James Gunn has said there is more. Not only more Arkham Batman, but more Arkhamverse games coming in the plans. He also was asked specifically about exactly what kind of games he's going to be making as part of his new DCU, because people were wondering, what does his game, all these games, does it mean he's just going to be doing mobile games? And he confirmed, no, he's talking about like legitimate AAA DC games, as part of his whole vision for an expanded DCU. But of course, that pending approval from JayShockblast.
Pending my approval.
It all has to run through JayShockblast.
That's how it goes.
Yep. If JayShockblast approves James Gunn's plans, then we will in fact be getting some more DC games. Hopefully, though, not Batman games, just because I feel like y'all don't deserve another Batman game, and I'd rather have a Superman game first.
Yeah. You know what I'm wondering? Because nobody asked for Suicide Squad, right?
You mentioned on AfterShow Podcast that I know a Batman that's coming out before a Superman game. Oh, that Batman game. Yeah, I can't talk about that one, but I can't. But yeah, there is more Arkhamverse stuff.
I got that reference.
Jay got the reference.
Okay. It took me a minute, but I'm there. I'm with you.
Yeah, there is going to be a Batman game before there is a Superman game released.
Yeah.
We can't tell you what it is, but there will not, when by the time a Superman game hits stores, there will already have been a Batman game out.
Yeah. Okay. I literally told Sadot this. No. So I'm like, what is he talking about? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I approve the anime Batman Beyond. I'm working on it.
Yeah. How's that? Well, I know how it didn't get approved by the old regime, but yeah. James Gunn's got to say yes to that, right?
You would think so. Like, did you see that animation was? I'm not a big. I have no connection or attachment to Batman Beyond. Like, I've already established I was never really a big Batman fan at all until Arkham rolled around, and like I just didn't care about all of that stuff, but like freaking. Like that artwork for Batman Beyond looked amazing.
Incredible.
Listen, Cloud, I'm trying. Okay, let me share a video with you, okay? I've got this joke that you guys are all probably pretty aware of about Batman Ninja.
I actually heard a much better game pitch than Batman Ninja that I demand that you pitch to Alan and everyone at WB.
Okay, what was that?
So someone was commenting on All Father Media's post about Suicide Squad, and they mentioned that the live service game that they should have made and they should make is a live service Green Lantern game, kind of like a Battlefield, where you and I immediately was like, oh, this is going to be like you. So you create your own Green Lantern, and you literally go to war against. You go to war against other planets. You go to different places. Immediately in my head, I was thinking like Helldivers, but Green Lantern. like you're a part of the Green Lantern Corps. You create your own lantern. You get assigned a sector, and there are big team battles when there's like this huge threat that the other lanterns have to band together, and and I was just like, this sounds amazing.
Yeah. So the first thing that I pitched when we were in when we were in Montreal was a Green Lantern game, and that is actually what one of the WB games execs remember me by. Like when we were in LA, she saw me. She's like, "Oh, Green Lantern game," and did not think about the Batman Ninja. So I'm all on board on that.
Which is correct. Like that, I think we're all a bit tired of Batman.
Okay, so I'll tell you who's very tired of my Batman Ninja jokes. It's Uncaged Games. Okay.
Well, he looks tired of it.
Yeah. Hold on. You should hopefully be able to hear this. Let me know if you can hear it.
No. I cannot hear it.
You can't hear it?
I cannot.
How do I get audio to go through?
Skill. It sounds like a skill issue. I don't know.
All right. So I'm doing share screen.
Mm-hmm. Did you mute it?
No, it's not muted. Like I can hear the sound. No sound. Okay. Hold on.
How did you shock blast this one up?
I don't know. I hit present, share screen.
Mm-hmm.
I shared window.
Mm-hmm.
Also share tab audio. That's on.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, window. To share audio, share a tab or screen instead. Okay, share entire screen. Okay. Okay, I think I got it now. You can hear it? Okay, perfect.
Whoa, hey now. Whoa.
All right, hold on.
Set up matches between myself and Jay here. Check it out.
Yeah. Skill issue.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
The Rock.
The Rock. Okay.
And then the Hardys.
And then the Hardys.
Good. Solid.
I mean,
They're
like
not-
in the game.
Oh, in the game? Cody.
All right.
And the Rock.
Okay. Did you play as Cody Ninja?
Okay, anyway.
Love the Rock.
So basically,
I have a picture with him, by the way.
Oh yeah? Oh, with the Rock. Yes, you do. So obviously I made the Batman Ninja joke, but I said Cody Ninja, and he just walked away. He's so tired of that joke. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of am too. So
I'm tired of that game. Now we just need to go forward with the live service Green Lantern game.
I'm all on board. I will make that my new pitch.
That's the new pitch. That's the new meta. Live service Green Lantern game. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. I did appreciate him fangirling over the Rock though. That was
as you should.
That I purposely didn't stop it there. It was fun. But yeah, I can't wait to see his vlog. I can't believe he hasn't posted it yet. Because he got like a lot of video that I didn't get, and he also hasn't sent me the video. We played a set of matches. So first we played a match for his channel, and I won somehow.
Allegedly.
Like I was actually kind of trying.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
Allegedly.
Okay. I tried kind of losing at the end, and then I just won. So I was like, oh, well, so let's run it back. And we did another match. Like, I think we did an ambulance match for his channel and a casket match for my channel. And I lost to him on the video that's going to be on my channel. And we kind of thought that was fun that we both lose on our own video. And
I call rigged.
Maybe because maybe I should have beat him both times.
Yeah. Maybe. How be real, Jay? How much did you pay him to let you win?
Dude, I don't know what happened. It's like I have no business beating him in any kind of a fighting game whatsoever. He was wrecking me for a while, and then I just figured it out as we were playing, like what I was doing wrong. And then I could not figure out how to get him. I would have won the casket match, but I couldn't figure out how to get him in the casket, and he got me in. It was over. So
skill issue, shockblast.
Yeah.
Now, Jay. I think most people had no real issues with this, but I know the Hellgala suit was very popular. But I appreciate that they're not just giving us mission replay. They're actually letting us play unlock some actual new stuff, including not just abilities, but symbiote suit styles for Peter. Now I'm thinking the story symbiote suit, especially the second one, will look really good in red. you think we're going that route?
Anything in red looks great.
Oh yeah, cannot argue there.
Now the one on the right is Peter, right?
Yeah,
because that looks more like a Miles suit, but they both look like Miles suits to me.
Yeah, like you could tell the Miles suit by the hair.
People are complaining about that too. Like, we already told you we don't like the hair.
I definitely don't like the suit, but I'm not gonna whine about it.
I like the suit. I also don't care for like the hair popping out, but like the suit is a Hellfire Gala suit, and that's the Hellfire Gala for better or worse.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Are those shoes okay though? Like, is he allowed to wear those shoes?
Oh, hold on. Let me check. Let me see if there's a logo.
Oh my god. The GameStop that was near me that closed a few weeks ago that I was distraught about. I don't know if we need this on here anymore. I found out what it's going to be now. A Warby Parker.
That's perfect. Where are my Warby Parkers? There we go. I don't see an Adidas logo, but I'm going to assume they are. So cancel it or whatever.
I'm shocked nobody's complaining about it yet, but I guess you can't buy them. So
nope. So it's fine. People are just complaining about the look of it, which, who cares? But yep, I got my official Spider-Man 2 Warby Parker sunglasses.
It's not allowed.
Hashtag spawn. Shout out to Sony for the gift. and Warby Parker. had to get my shill on. JayShockblast is the only one that can flex in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I taught him so well.
I've also got stuff at my desk.
Aw, appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't show it, but I also have my computer sitting on a map on a desk mat that Capcom sent me. So,
nice.
so we're all flexing here. But I'm hearing Suicide Squad might release their season 1 on March 7th. The same day as Spider-Man 2 New Game Plus. Now, obviously that would be a terrible idea, but it's also possible the 8th. Miller, based on what Miller's found, he's thinking it's looking like the season 1 update is going to be dropping either the 7th or the 8th.
I would do it the day before or the day after. I would not do it the same day.
Yeah, same day.
It'll get lost in the sauce.
So the reason why he's thinking the day of the 7th or the day after is because of when the drops run out. Because I believe the last day for the Twitch drops is the 6th of March. That's when it runs out. And they're going to have some new drops, and they're supposed to be drops for the Joker. So they would want to start that relatively soon. But it would definitely be in their best interest to not do it on the 7th. Don't make people make that choice.
Yeah.
You won't like the results.
I mean, I know what I'll choose, but
oh yeah, I mean,
if there's not a trophy involved, I am not playing New Game Plus. I don't care.
Yeah. And plus,
Whew, thank God my sponsored video did well. It's like the only video that did well, really. But I'll take it that it's that one.
Yeah, it's weird. All my Suicide Squad videos and streams did well, except for by my standards, except for the sponsored video.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it. From mine's like still. I feel like it's getting better every day, but maybe it's because I stopped reading the comments. Maybe the comments are like a hellscape, and
probably. Yeah, I stopped. Yeah, I felt like if I could have released mine earlier, it would have been better because it was mainly geared towards new players, and well,
God, I hope so. I listen.
Jay is desperate for new Lego games.
Listen, I would be happy if they remastered Lego Dimensions and skedaddled the games the Toys to Life stuff and just made it so you could play without it, because man, that game was so good and there was so much there, and I really feel like a Lego Dimensions 2 would be great. My pitch to them would be no more game Toys to Life. Everything is just regular DLC, so it's a live service game and a live service Lego game, and there are optional like those Lego packs that you can buy where they're like blind packs. They have Lego Dimensions branded blind packs where you can get the minifigs, like I got this blind pack and I got Storm, and it's a pretty sick Lego Storm.
Very nice.
So something like that. I don't like toys, like Sean. I don't like Toys to Life because like I have all my stuff in a box put away because like it took up my entire desk. I don't want to have to fidget with all these little Legos on their little stands. And
he says that, but look at his room.
No, but like it's one thing to have it all sit there and collect dust. It's another thing to have it like to every time I want to put Storm in the game, to take her and put her on a little thing, and then when I don't want her in the game, take her off and put her somewhere else. That
seems inconvenient.
Yeah, it's cool, but like but yeah, Billy Finn gets it. Like a Lego Dimensions, you have the series, the collectible minifig series. I think that's what it stands for. And like you can have series 1, series 2, and you just add the characters to that and it'd be great. But like there's a reason why Toys to Life died. It was just so expensive to keep up with. And like at one point I had all those Disney Infinities out. I had all those damn freaking Lego Dimensions out, all of them out so that like I can make videos, and it's like enough,
True. I feel like we could, and this is me. I would try out a Lego anime game. Like I would love a Lego anime adaptation.
And that was the great thing about Lego Dimensions. And I don't know if you're familiar with Lego Dimensions at all, but basically Lego Dimensions was a catch-all Lego game where they had like an original story, and like you start off with Gandalf, and you also had like Scooby-Doo, you had Adventure Time, you had Back to the Future, you had DC characters, so like Batman and Cyborg, Wonder Woman. There was like a Red Lantern Supergirl. It was amazing. There was Green Arrow.
Lego sounds like Lego Fortnite with WD.
Basically, it was basically Lego Fortnite. It was you had the A-Team. There was going to be a Minecraft level, but like each one of them would get like their own world. So like there was a Simpsons world, and there were Simpsons characters. Do I know what game TT Games is doing? Yes.
And he cannot tell you.
But it was amazing. It was like so great. But like you had to have all these minifigs, and there were vehicles, and like technically the vehicle could be turned into 3 different things. God, what else did they have? Did
they have Speed Racer?
No Speed Racer. They did have the Goonies. They had Gizmo and Stripe.
Starting to sound more like Multiverses.
Yeah, they had E.T. They had Jurassic Park. Gremlins. Yeah, they had like just so Mission Impossible. So many franchises. There was about to be another set, another wave, and I know Minecraft is one of them. I wish I had the list because back before there was Miller, there was Bricks to Life, and he was talking to them devs, and he knew everything. Like he knew that the game was shutting down like weeks before it was shutting down.
So he literally just was Miller. This starting to remind me of the apparent project that I feel like is not actually going to happen. But remember that that VR project that they announced a while ago, where what WB is supposed to be like Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that gets off the ground, right?
I don't think Funko Fusion is going to be Toys to Life, but I'm super excited for that. I'm here for all the like Masters of the Universe resurgence. There's gonna be the Funko Fusion. So basically, a bunch of people from TT Games split off and went to start their own company, and they're doing a Funko game, which is focusing on the Universal franchises, and one of them is going to be Masters of the Universe. So that's going to be awesome. And also, apparently, He-Man and Skeletor are coming to Fortnite. So now I don't have to play Call of Duty ever again.
I mean, shouldn't have done that to begin with.
Listen, they put Skeletor in the game. I had to do it. Do you think it's fair criticism of the apparent poor script writing and storytelling? I mean, listen, Sefton Hill and the other guy, they're the ones that wrote it. You know, I don't.
All your favorite Arkham creators wrote the script for this game.
Yeah. So I don't know what to say, man. Like, I liked the story. I think there are things they could have done differently for sure. But like
to be clear, there's not a question. If you actually listen to us, like that's obviously going to be fair criticism. What we would consider bad faith is when people say things that just blatantly aren't true. Like, oh, this game is just a cash grab that's just filled with microtransactions and all this other stuff. It's like,
yeah, that's the part that sucks. It's like literally has the fairest microtransactions I think ever. Like all right, so you can sit there and argue that the skin packs that are the thing that annoys me a little bit is everybody says, oh, the skin packs are $20. Like one skin's $20. No, that's 7 different things in one pack. Okay, you can get one skin for definitely much less than that, but like or recolor, whatever you want to call it. I just feel like their pricing is in line with every other game, and by every other game, I mean the ones you pay $60 or $70 for. It's in line with Assassin's Creed. It's in line with Destiny. It's in line with The Division. It's in line with all of them, and it's in line with the Call of Duties and the Fortnites and everybody else. They're comparable, all right, for better or worse. Would I like to pay less? Sure, absolutely, but it's comparable.
Yeah, as I always said about optional cosmetics, buy them or don't buy them. It literally doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter, especially if the actual content that you play, the additional stuff is free. Like, who cares? Like that's what I was saying. Like, people, there's also the battle pass thing. Like, it's not like you can't get free cosmetics in the game. Like, if you're someone who doesn't want to buy any cosmetics, you literally don't have to. You can do some joke. You can, if you pre-ordered, you got some really good. You got the best skins in the game, some of the best skins in the game. And if you want some really cool skins, you can literally just play the game, do some Joker challenge, do some Riddler challenges, and you got some really cool stuff right there.
I released a video last week while I was in Utah. That was like my big video for while I was gone. Absolutely nobody watched it. It was what I would have done differently in Suicide Squad. And I said, I really do feel like there should have been more skins in the base game. And the thing about it is if you're giving people the base skin, they're going to be more inclined to want to get the recolors. Like it's just a fact. But I'm actually shocked that there were only 2 actual skin sets that were there for the core game. And I'm actually shocked that there weren't at least 2 more members of the Justice League that we fight as part of the story, So I think those 2 things,
You said shocker.
I did. So yeah, like there's definitely things they could have done better. And I think we've both been very clear. Like I don't think we've fanboyed this game at all. I feel like we've definitely
well we haven't said the game is dead and lazy devs and everything like that. So by definition, that makes us fanboys.
I guess you're right.
Indeed.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but ideally, yeah, there are definitely a lot of things I would have done very differently. Obviously, conceptually, I would not have made this game. I would have not.
Right.
I would not have made this.
That was the first thing I said. I would have made a Justice League game, but we didn't do that. All right.
But if I was going to do a Kill the Justice League game, I still would do that. But I would do that as Batman, helping the Suicide Squad, and make all of them playable, and have Batman use his contingency plan to bring the Justice League back from under control without killing them.
I would love to know how they decided let's do a Suicide Squad game. I mean, the Suicide Squad movie didn't even didn't even do that great.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a huge disaster or anything like the second one was, but it grossed $749 million at the box office on a $325 million budget, you know, and they had Will Smith and Margot Robbie as leads. They had the Joker in it. Fuck, they had Batman appear in it.
Yeah.
So I consider that a disappointment. You know, they weren't in a hurry to greenlight a sequel, but they basically rebooted it with James Gunn, a soft reboot, but they did the whole simultaneous HBO Max release, and that one was and it was during the pandemic, so that one was a complete bomb. And
you know, I watched it again on my flight out to Utah, and it's actually a good movie. It's actually fun.
It was fine for what it was.
Like I'm not saying it's, you know, the Avengers or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to see the Ayers cut, but you know, whatever. But the first one was the most successful of the two. But out of all that, the most successful characters to come out of the Suicide Squad movies were Will Smith's Deadshot, so a black version of Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and Peacemaker. Those are the most popular characters to come out of both of those Suicide Squad projects. And then for your Suicide Squad game, you have Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. And Peacemaker is nowhere near, not in your first year of content plans. Like it's like
I especially after what, like, you obviously saw the Peacemaker trailer for Mortal Kombat. And after seeing that, like, how do you not want to run through a wall to play as Peacemaker, you know?
Yeah, and you're literally playing as imagine playing a Suicide Squad game, like, oh man, look at Mortal Kombat just got Peacemaker.
I know. It's such a missed opportunity. And yeah, I'll tell you what, Bloodsport I feel like is such both Peacemaker and Bloodsport are such a recent thing. And I understood, like, you know, the rush to get Peacemaker in there simply because he had his own show anyway, and he's obviously going to get a second season. But like, when I watched Suicide Squad again, I realized how cool some of what Bloodsport does is, especially his gun and how it like kind of comes out and everything. So yeah, I think Bloodsport could be really cool too. But yeah. Peacemaker, like, dude.
Yeah, I would have made some very different choices. Like if I was making Suicide Squad, obviously I had my own pitch for the story. But even with this game's base roster, like I would have made it if I had my ideal pick for a base roster for a Suicide Squad game that was primarily supposed to be a shooter. My base roster would be Peacemaker, Deathstroke, Harley Quinn, and Deadshot.
Yeah, I like that. And I think we were talking about this in our DM earlier. I would immediately pivot and get Deathstroke out second. Like, no matter what. I really feel like,
even if that means delaying everything.
From what I feel like what we've been told and what we've heard is that, like,
assuming it's a situation where, okay, this is going to be a big content delay.
I feel like you start trying to do it now, and worst case scenario, you try to force them in there at third.
See, I don't. So maybe if you could work that in, but I would instead I kind of do what Marvel's Avengers did. Like when Marvel's Avengers, before it launched, they revealed 3 characters. They did 2 war tables. They revealed Kate Bishop, and they revealed Hawkeye. Obviously, in hindsight, not the greatest duo to start your live service Avengers game, but whatever. And then they dropped a blog saying, hey, by the way, Spider-Man's also coming as a character. Unfortunately, he was only coming to PlayStation, but but that they announced 3 of the DLC characters that were coming, and gave people kind of a time frame of when to expect what. Now we already got a roadmap. Oh, Rocker Raid, let's go. We're here for Avengers 2. Shout out to Johnny Rocker. So, but yeah, like obviously we know the Joker, but they haven't teased anyone else, even though now leaving out Miller's leaks, the actual game leaked the second character.
Yeah.
in Brainiac's voice dialogue, he literally tells you who the second DLC character is.
Yeah, and I disagree strongly. I don't have a problem with Mrs. Freeze, or what is it? Lawson? Lawless. Okay. I have no problem with either of them being characters in the game at some point, right? They should not have been second and third. Like, they completely, I think they overestimated how much people would accept Elseworlds. And I really and truly feel like it's been proven that this fan base, at a bare minimum, needs characters they know.
Yes.
And Deathstroke, obviously, I know they held him for 4th because they're like, all right, this is an absolute dub. We got it in the back pocket. This is what everybody's going to be excited about. However, I don't think they understood like how much people hated this game for what it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that sucks. And I just really feel like it would have been a better play to just focus on characters they know for the first year, and then wiggle in some Elseworlds stuff in the second year.
Fair enough. I mean, I feel like the Gotham season is going to do well just because of nature of being Gotham. But yeah. there was I feel like there's definitely that whole thing, and we saw this with Avengers. Like they would try to get too cute. Like they had their vision of, oh, I really want this character, and they're not thinking of who's going to sell games. Who's going to drive?
That's what I'm saying. Deathstroke is a certified game seller.
Yeah, like for Avengers, for example, Hawkeye, still really good, but you had him coming second, like, and then you have Kate Bishop coming first, and it's like you may be very passionate about Kate Bishop, but especially at the time because the show hadn't even been a thing yet, most of the fan base does not care about Kate Bishop.
Yeah, and she actually honestly was one of my favorite characters in the game too, which is crazy.
She was very fun to play, but Kate Bishop does not make headlines and make people, oh man, Kate Bishop is coming to the Avengers game. Oh boy, like that. No, like imagine if instead of Kate Bishop, that was Scarlet Witch or Storm,
and especially because they already kind of told the game through the eyes of Kamala Khan, who also didn't have her own show yet.
And at that point was just a relatively new comic book character who didn't sell very many comic books. So, but people rolled with it, and a lot of people were won over by the character, sure, but people mainly were getting the game because it had Avengers on the cover, not because we got to live the story of Kamala Khan bringing the Avengers together. And they wanted more big Avengers characters. Like, you look at all the people, all the biggest characters, all the most popular characters people wanted to see come to the game: War Machine, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, Wolverine, all these big heavy hitters. And they're like, well, we know you want all that, but Kate Bishop? Sure, but Jane Foster. It's like come on. Like, what are you doing here? Like you're like Joker, great DLC choice. Obviously people can complain, oh, everyone uses the Joker, but at the same time, it's the Joker.
Yeah, I think we had that tragedy with Chadwick Boseman that kind of
derailed
that. Yeah. I think he was definitely going to be
earlier
sooner.
Well, they had a lot of problems. From what I understood, their ideal timeline would have been to have War for Wakanda out by December.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the case.
And it didn't end up coming out until summer of 2021 instead of winter 2020, and it's unfortunate. So that just what it was. But in the case of Suicide Squad, I'm like, okay, you see and we saw this in the chat when we first saw the roadmap. People who didn't
roadmap,
the people who didn't see the leaks were looking at the ice map, and we're like, ooh, an ice character. Ooh, what names did they throw out there? Mr. Freeze, Captain Cold, Killer Frost. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's just gonna. I feel like it's just gonna be the same people that are complaining are gonna come in and say, oh, first of all, it's not even the right Joker, and now it's not even Mr. Freeze. This
is going this is woke people are gonna come right back out. They're like, oh, see, told you it's woke.
But you know what they wouldn't complain about? Deathstroke.
They would not.
You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna be like Rose Wilson. Watch.
No.
It's gonna be his daughter.
No way. That would be hilarious. But
yeah.
But no, it is actually Slade. But yeah, but this is definitely a situation where I feel like they thought the game would be in a much better place than it was, and that people would like give them the grace. Like, oh well, you already gave us this amazing campaign. Oh my god, this end game. I mean, who could forget that? And oh man, season 1 was just so good. I mean, like I love it. So sure, I don't mind, a gender swap Freeze character, or I don't mind this. I don't mind Deadshot's daughter or whatever. We're going back to Gotham. That's fine. Oh, but we're definitely getting Deathstroke. Okay, cool. Like, and that's just not what happened.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I just have done a good job of not looking into what Miller said, like the other characters are. I think I saw a rumor of Killer Croc or something, but like, I hope that for their sake,
I'm pretty sure Killer Croc was literally another character that was leaked in the game, in the actual game.
Yeah. So like, I hope for their sake that year 4 or year 2 is safer. Give me, if you're gonna do 4 characters a year, make sure year 2 is 4 established characters.
Whoa! Slow down, Jay. I swear that wasn't me. Chad, I swear that was not me. I did not cut off Chad.
It
would have been funny if that was. I did
my mouse. And like I've got like these little side clicker buttons, and apparently one of them is a back button, and that's what I did. It put me back into the lobby. I accidentally hit the button. I don't know. Sorry.
That was perfect timing. It made it look like I got rid of you.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, he would have done that.
Yes, I would have. No, but you're like, I mean, I would say like we gotta. Obviously, we can speculate about year 2, but we got to get through not only year 1, we got to get through season 1.
Yeah,
because right now,
yeah,
game is not in the best place.
But like, here's what I'll say though: we watched Cyberpunk recover. We watched. I think they recovered really well.
No, they did, but
it took a long time.
This is also kind of a different situation.
Sure, but what is it? The Star Wars games, Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2.
Like that game had a rough go of it,
but that was mainly because of the pay to win monetization practices.
Sure, I understand, but I'm just saying they recovered pretty well,
right?
You know, I mean, didn't get them a third game, but you know, I don't need another.
It got them started on a third game. It didn't allow them to finish the third game.
Yeah. So I mean, I just kind of feel like I think that we're definitely going to get through year 1. I feel like they've got everything set up for that.
Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, I do truly feel like once they figure out what's going on with everything and fix it, it's going to be fixed for good. And once we get to that point, because we've seen the game work properly, and when it works properly, I think it's great.
It's very fun. Extremely
fun.
Fun.
So like if we can just get it working consistently and then like get some good content out, we're good. And I'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Like the difference between Cyberpunk and obviously Cyberpunk had a much worse launch, but definitely in terms of scale. But the main difference is that people had a ton of love and support for Cyberpunk leading into that launch. They had a lot of goodwill. They lost a lot of it not because they didn't get the game that they wanted, but the game that they wanted didn't work for a lot of people, particularly the ones on last gen consoles. And that was, obviously they lied about some stuff, and that's an issue as well. But the core of the game is what their fan base wanted and what they delivered for the people who got it to work. And then, they spent the time to fix everything and then deliver better content, and it became a complete turnaround. In the case of Suicide Squad, they have a divided core audience. You have the Arkham fanboys that don't want to give any other game a chance. It's like this. Nope, we wanted another Batman game. Nope, I'm not giving this a chance no matter what. And you have the people who are open to it, but they're in a situation where, okay, well, I'm open to it. I enjoy the combat, but the boss design sucks, and I literally can't log into the game. So you have all these issues. And now they could overhaul a lot of stuff and fix it, and they seem to be receptive. Like great example in the blog earlier, Tricks Ridiculous on Twitter said, "Hey, one of my problems with the game is that I feel like killing time
is a waste of time.
Is a waste of time. No one plays it because in theory, infinite horde mode is amazing. In practice, it sucks because it's too spread out. You have to run around the whole map chasing and looking for enemies, and it makes it like not worth your time to play it. Like it's faster to just farm normal incursion stuff." And they took that feedback and said, "You know what? You're right. We're going to do it. We're going to do it literally exactly what Trick said to do, which was to rework it so that it's more closed in and everything like that." So
thanks, Tricks Ridiculous.
Thank you, Snitch Ridiculous, for fixing killing time. So it shows that they're willing to listen, and they're, unlike Avengers, they're willing to listen apply feedback and fix things that players don't like. So that's a very good thing for the future, as long as that keeps happening. Now, that's why I think they could, make a big comeback, because again, season 1 still hasn't dropped yet, but they are definitely running out of chances to really like get that momentum, because they've lost a lot of momentum. I'm really curious about these sales, because I've been trying to track the different sales charts to kind of get a feel for just how well this game did, because obviously, just from everything I've seen, it had to sell at least 1 million copies. Probably 2.
Because I remember like opening week that it was out, I had at least 80 plus people on my friends list playing.
Yeah, like it was the number one. I'm looking at all the different charts. It was the number one most pre-ordered game on PlayStation. We just got a new sales charts for game sales for the month of January. That was only out 2 days in January for early access for the 30th and 31st, but it debuted at number 3, right behind Tekken 8. So
that's crazy. 2 days and it was number 2,
3 behind Tekken 8. I think it was literally Tekken 8. I think number 1 was Call of Duty. Number 2 was Hogwarts Legacy. Number 3 was Tekken 8. No, number 2 was Tekken 8. Number 3 was Suicide Squad. It was Call of Duty, Tekken 8, and Suicide Squad.
So there you go. And that's for January?
That was just for January. It was Suicide Squad was number 3.
Yeah, so that they definitely sold at least 1 million just in January.
So so it's definitely, obviously it's not Hogwarts Legacy, which again, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, why would you bring that up? Why would you bring that quarter up if you're talking about, expectations? But the true test is obviously going to be, which is why you shouldn't be making comments on sales if you're WB to begin with, is how can you maintain and grow the player base beyond how much people buy on launch day, and since we haven't even gotten to season 1 yet, I feel like that would have been a better measuring stick for the potential of this game. But obviously they ran into a bunch of issues that ruined a lot of the momentum. Like, you have a bunch of people who literally can't play the game.
Yeah.
And
which is awful.
Yeah, and that's killed a lot of the momentum. And they, fortunately, with season 1 coming, they still have a chance to get people back, win new people over, but it's definitely hurt things for sure. And if they do fix it all, though, then yeah, I obviously what you said about their DLC character choices not being, DLC movers or game sellers, 100% true. But if the content is quality and is delivered consistently, I feel like that will at least satisfy the core players. But the key is getting a decent amount of core players and keeping them by, having a game that works. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter how much you listen to feedback. If you release a patch to fix some stuff and you break a bunch of other stuff, and you still haven't fixed the other stuff, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, I saw some people were complaining that, because they mentioned the blog, they were releasing in the Discord when they were talking about season 1, they said 6 new incursion missions.
Yep.
And in the blog, they said they're adding 3 new incursion missions.
Mm-hmm.
And
people thought
they sound good, but if by 6 new incursion missions they meant the 3 that you get in the base game, and then we're adding 3, well, that's not great.
My interpretation was always that the 3 that come with the base game would swap out and change, and then there would be more. So I
hope that's good. Like, well, are they going to be the same? Because here's the thing, and I think I know what you may be getting at. Like, when you beat the game, when you first get introduced to the end game, there's that mission where there's that giant mech, and you have to shoot out the purple weak points on each of the legs or whatever, and that will award you a pretty decent amount of Promethium at the time. But then it disappears from the map and you never see it again. So are you thinking maybe when season 1 hits, they add those 3 new ones and then they add that one back and that's part of rotation?
No, what I'm saying is they're going to take the 3 that are already there now and they're going to change the environment to suit the season 1 environment.
Oh, so the exact same missions, but on the new map.
Yeah.
Okay.
The exact same mission types on the new map. That was always my interpretation of what they were doing. And maybe there will just be more of those mission types. Like, obviously, it's going to be the 3 new assault ones,
right?
Whatever that is. But my interpretation was always that, like, you'll still be able to go back and do the 3 that we've been doing.
Yeah.
But they'll be part of like season 0 or whatever.
Right.
And there'll be new versions of those types of incursions on the new type of map.
Oh, please God.
And that'll be there each season. What?
I never want to play invasive species or ever again.
Yeah. I definitely hope they do. Like, I get what they're doing with the way they do the gear, certain gear going to each one, I guess guaranteed, because I've definitely gotten gear pieces like I like doing the one where you just have to kill everything. That gives you a gun.
Send the signal.
Yeah, I that's my favorite of the 3.
That's the one. That's the one everyone plays.
Right. So I don't like the Ivy one at all.
It's
and the other one's fine, but like obviously, if you want like a shield, you have to go do that mission. But I have gotten shield drops on, the gun one, so it's not ideal and it's certainly RNG, but
yeah, right. I just don't like. And my only problem with Worlds Unfair is like the incubator ones or whatever, but because damage reduction is currently so broken, it makes doing that mission very annoying because you're literally getting shot at by hundreds of projectiles every second.
Yeah, that is definitely an issue that is annoying. But I mean, like I beat it 3 times in a row by myself on Mastery 46, which is the highest I can go.
Yeah, I can do it on Mastery 100 with Boomer, but I just have to spec it out to make it work.
And it sucks because like we were doing them on higher levels, we just couldn't do any damage. And I'm pretty sure that if we could have finished those, I would have had the mastery.
Yeah, you would have.
And that's a part. And like I'm not, and me, I'm not like a difficulty guy. I'm not the type of person that like needs to do the hardest difficulty to be satisfied. But
he actually is a very competitive Soulsborne player.
Yeah, but like no, I've actually enjoyed doing this at the higher difficulties, and I felt like I've done pretty well when I'm not just getting like everybody on the map like projectile vomiting on me.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, that's my main issue with that particular one. I figure out how to cheese around it, but it is definitely a problem that needs to be corrected for sure. And unfortunately, Jay can't even get there, and I can't even play multiplayer at all.
Yeah, because we tried and we can get in the matches and everything, but just can't damage anything.
And now I can't get in the matches at all after the patch.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, so yeah, could they turn around? Sure, but now it's getting to a point of okay, like I was acting under the assumption that all right, they have some stuff to fix, but they're gonna release patches that fix them. But if we're at the point where you're releasing patches that break more stuff, then it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's getting spooky.
You are frozen on screen, by the way.
Yeah, I was just waiting for it to reload. So
I figured. I didn't know if you knew though, so I was just mentioning.
Oh, I can definitely see your face frozen.
Oh, okay. So I'm frozen on your end too. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
The downside of using Chrome.
There you go. Yeah, Chrome. I've noticed that YouTube looks awful on Chrome lately for me.
Yeah, I hate Chrome. Invasive. I wish invasive species wouldn't be so bad if the enemies. That's another problem. Like there's an issue where if you, especially at higher levels, if it will say like, okay, A, you got to go to point A because their enemies are attacking that plant. You go to plant A, there's no one there, and it keeps going. So then you have to look around the map and like, okay, so they're not at point A, no one's there, and then you find out, okay, so they're at a different unlabeled point. So you have to guess which cluster of enemy is going to count towards A, and then run towards them as fast as you can, take them out really quickly, even though enemies are still a bit spongy. You have to take out really quickly and hope that those are the right ones so that the corruption doesn't run out and end the mission.
I forget who I was playing with. I think it was actually Lejeune. Might have been Lejeune, but like it was somebody really good. It wasn't you though. And we were doing that mission, and it was like just a bunch of the brutes, and one of them was like on top of the bridge, but like on the very, very, very top, and we couldn't see him, and we ended up like failing the mission because like we couldn't find him. It was a Batman brute. We couldn't find him anywhere, but he was like all the way on the top of the bridge.
And that's the thing. Brutes aren't supposed to count towards the corruption at all. Like they're not even supposed to count. So yeah, that was a bug anyway.
Yeah, and it was definitely the reason we failed, because that one was just up there. Oh, I think I also like couldn't get any ammo.
Yeah, so mission
that seems to be fixed though.
Yeah, mission bugs aside, mission designer side, yeah, it is buggy too. So that makes it more annoying. So that's why I was hoping for newer mission types, because assuming these 3 new ones are good, the combat ones are really good, then people are just going to be playing those 3 and the sending a signal. So that's 4 end-game missions, and then there's those other things they mentioned that's supposed to be coming. What are they, bases or something? We don't know what they are. So there's supposed to be news. There's supposed to be a bunch of new missions to play coming. Then there's new loot to chase. We got 2 Faces Scarecrow stuff, and the Bane set was cool, but I'm hoping that they, as we go forward, get more creative with the weapons in particular. There's definitely room to like kind of go crazy, especially since this is DC. Like, just I know a lot of people talk about Borderlands, but even like if you remember Saints Row, they had like that dubstep gun, like which is exactly,
I remember that
is exactly what it sounds like. It's a gun that shoots dubstep.
I think that was like a Twitch drop too.
Yeah, it is absolutely awesome. I got it without I didn't have Twitch back then, but I just got it. And you literally shoot the gun, it plays dubstep, it forces the people you shoot it with to dance to the dubstep and then explode. Like, speaking
of Borderlands, did you see the trailer?
I watched a little bit of the trailer. I'm not a Borderlands guy, but I looked at it, I was like, this kind of feels like the Jumanji movie, but Borderlands.
I thought it kind of felt Guardians of the Galaxy-ish. Borderlands, by the way, one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. I love Borderlands. It's a weird cast. Kate Blanchett is too old to be Lilith. I'm sorry.
Bigot.
Yes, 100%. I don't like. She looks okay sometimes, but then there's times where she just looks her age, and like that's not a slight on her. But like, I felt like Lilith was a younger character.
Right.
Like I felt like she was in her 20s, and Kate Blanchett isn't.
No, she's not.
Tannis is Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis is perfect, but I don't really understand why she's such a focal point. I'm struggling a little bit with Kevin Hart as Roland.
Yeah, that's just Kevin Hart to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just Kevin Hart with a hat,
Yeah.
It wasn't as awful as I was expecting. Jack Black as Claptrap is great. I don't know why we have Krieg as one of the characters. Like it really is weird. Like I don't understand. And obviously, Greenblatt as Tiny Tina is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that looked really solid casting.
But like I don't understand why we don't have Mordecai, who's my favorite Borderlands character, or Brick. You know, like those are two of the main characters, and hopefully the story explains it. But it's a weird 6 character because Krieg was a DLC character. He was never part of the main group, and he's just like a bandit, you know,
right.
like that still has some of his brain left, you know. So I don't know, man. It looked like it was pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
I have no investment in Borderlands really, so I'll probably watch it, and I'll probably walk away like, that's fine. And people who are big Borderlands fans will be like, oh, they did this wrong. It sucks.
No, I understand Krieg is popular. My buddy Madman, that's like his favorite Borderlands character to play as in all the games. So like, I get it. Like his whole thing was like he was stronger the more damage you took. So I wasn't really a huge fan of playing as him, because it was like very much a gamble to play as him.
Right.
But like, yeah, like we'll see. I mean, I think it's got the right spirit. It looks right. Yeah. I love Eli Roth. I actually met Eli Roth and Randy Pitchford when they announced it at PAX East. I'll never forget it because
I need a flex for the soundboard, by the
way. So they did it. They announced it at PAX East, and I was so annoyed because I was streaming at the Elgato booth, and it was during that conference, and the Elgato booth that year was in the entrance, and basically when it was over, everybody just came flooding down the stairs, and I had to sit there and watch all these people walking downstairs with their Borderlands masks on that they gave them, and yeah, it was awful. Yeah, exactly. Phantom. Mordecai is my favorite. So, but I did end up getting me Eli Roth, who is my favorite character in Inglourious Bastards, which is one of my favorite movies. You know, the Bear Jew.
Don't think you're allowed to say that.
If you heard of Aldo the Apache, you must have heard of the Bear Jew. What are we looking at here?
The Superman Legacy symbol, apparently.
Oh.
For the upcoming Superman Legacy film.
Interesting.
From James Gunn. Someone in chat mentioned this reveal that happened. There you see the Hawk Girl label, and then right there is the Superman. Looks like it. That's Superman logo.
Who is Isabel Merced?
She's the actress playing Hawk Girl. She's very
well. I figured that part out. I just want to know who she is. Oh, she's good. I like that. I mean, I don't know who she is, but like, she looks. I can buy that.
Jay's saying she's very attractive.
No. So, like, the thing that's weird about Hawk Girl is there's different versions of Hawk Girl, because like
she's literally reincarnating.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like Hawkman traditionally is, you know, Carter Hall is a white guy, but I didn't have a problem with Hawkman in Black Adam, because literally they're reincarnated, so
yeah,
they can come back as anybody.
Exactly.
So and plus they're from Egyptian times, so they probably should be a darker skin anyway. In
that too.
Some form of fashion.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So like, but she looks fine for Hawk Girl. I mean, obviously Hawk Girl you would think is going to be at least a little muscular, but they can.
Well, we don't really get that anymore.
Yeah.
Like the guys have to, you know, put on like 20 pounds of muscle, but we don't see that. We don't really see the reverse.
Yeah, we just need them to have 20 pounds of cake.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll be fine. As long as we got the cake, we'll be fine. No, but yeah, this movie, I'm definitely looking forward to the movie. I thought the casting so far has been great. but it's like this is definitely a situation where what's up, Big Bob? This is definitely a situation where they definitely got not a lot of room for error here. like where we just had a lot of failures. You just executed the Snyderverse. It's over. You pissed off a lot of people by not bringing back Henry Cavill, and now it's like, okay, you're starting fresh. You wanted a fresh start. You wanted all new stuff. Let's see it.
I swear to God, I saw James Gunn when we were at WB.
He's probably there.
Yeah, it had like he was gone by the time we got out, but like I swear to God, I saw him.
I want this movie. I want him to do well. I like James Gunn's movies, but he's definitely going to be judged harshly here, more than he would normally be, because of the expectations of DC and because of the bad will generated from the DCU stuff. So if this movie doesn't make $1 billion, it's
Are $1 billion movies a thing anymore though? Like I feel like
we had several.
When was the last one?
It was either Mario or Barbie.
Okay, but I mean, that's Mario is kind of far back. Oh my God, Oppenheimer, whatever it is.
Oppenheimer. Was that? Did I make it? I know it made.
I don't think so. I watched that on my flight, and I wanted to gouge my eyes out. Dude, that movie is actually an audiobook. Like the acting is good, the story I understand, but like it's an audiobook.
It almost made $1 billion. It's 953 million. Barbie did 1.4 billion.
I don't understand why so many people went to watch that in a theater.
They love Christopher Nolan and the Barbieheimer hype,
I just don't like. It was an audiobook. You were watching an audiobook. And like it was interesting, don't get me wrong. And like I said, what's up, Lejeune? Don't get me wrong, it was
Jay's
interesting.
Hating.
What?
Jay's here hating on history.
Yeah, no, like there were like the conversation with Einstein, like the payoff at the end was really cool and very relatable.
I'm actually a big Nolan fan, and I have not seen Oppenheimer.
I wouldn't like dissuade anybody from seeing it.
I'm definitely going to see it,
but just understand what you're getting into.
I'm definitely going to watch it because of what Jay said, right?
But like it's an audiobook, you know what I mean? And I just wish I didn't watch it in that setting.
I said Tenet was rough. I've watched every other Nolan. I've even watched Dunkirk. If Christopher Nolan makes a movie, I'll go see it. I braved COVID to go see Tenet, and Tenet was not great. Tenet was Tenet. For me, Tenet definitely felt kind of like, outside of the really weird audio mix that made it hard to hear the actual dialogue sometimes. Tenet felt like one of those movies where you had a really clever concept and that's it. It was like you tried to be a little too clever and you didn't really hammer out like the rest of what makes a story like interesting. Like it, because I enjoyed it otherwise, but it was just like oof. This one was a tough one. It's definitely a movie you have to watch multiple times, but again, that's mostly because of the audio mix being so terrible at random.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think being stuck on a plane watching it was the right setting.
Definitely not for it. It definitely didn't feel like a. When I was looking at it, I was like, this definitely doesn't feel like a JayShockblast type of movie.
No, but like I love history. That's the thing. Like I enjoyed like like everybody was good at what they did. Like Robert Downey Jr. was really good at not being Iron Man.
But by history, what do you mean? Like Inglourious Basterds?
Like dude, I watch tons of World War II documentaries on Netflix. Like I've watched every World War II documentary on Netflix at least 5 times.
That's a little sus, but that's fine.
What do you mean?
What part of World War II interests you the most, Jay?
Just like the war, killing Nazis.
Okay, so you're just a fan of the era. You like the war.
Yeah, all right. So like my favorite Call of Duty is World at War. You know, like I love the World War II era. You know, we lived in Hawaii, where it was bombed, Pearl Harbor.
Right.
We didn't live in Pearl Harbor. We lived near Pearl Harbor. I've been there. You know, like so, like I don't know, like being in a military family growing up, you just have that attachment to it. You know.
Hey, maybe collect some memorabilia. Maybe from all sides. Maybe.
Okay, Kurt Schilling. I don't know if you even know who you must know who Kurt Schilling is. He played for the Phillies.
I grew up an unfortunate Philly fans. I was when I was watching the Phillies, we had Kurt Schilling and Scott Rowland. Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite players.
Kurt Schilling is probably like my favorite Red Sox pitcher, not named Pedro, and I'm just so disappointed because he is what you just said is literally
that's all I was getting at.
Is literally him. Okay, he is a World War II buff, and he does like to collect memorabilia from all sides.
Yeah, of course. We'll keep it YouTube friendly, but yes, he doesn't discriminate with the memorabilia he collected.
Yeah,
from that period.
And like I don't hold personal beliefs against people in many regards. I feel like he gets a bad rap because he did make a video game, Kingdoms of Amalur. He's a huge gamer. But that was all controversial because he struck a deal with the state of Rhode Island, and they were originally based in Hudson, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island offered him a shitload of money to move the company to Rhode Island and make the game there. So they did. And, as many first games go, it didn't necessarily do great out the gate.
Right.
And it came time for them to get their next payment from the state, and they said no. And it caught, and like Kurt was like, all right, well, we're not going to make paycheck. We're not like, we don't have like, we explained this to you. This is how it works. This is how gaming works. We have all these things we're working on, but like, this is the first game and it's going to take a minute to get the money back. So he ended up just closing shop and leaving the state on the hook. And a lot of people hold that against him. But to me, that's like politics, baby. Like, they offered him this money and didn't fall through on their end of the bargain, And yeah, apparently Schilling is not a great dude. Unfortunately, Tim Wakefield passed away recently, and the family was trying to like express it on their own terms, and he leaked it selfishly. So yeah, like he's definitely had some not so great things. I met him at the Kingdoms of Amalur like opening night. I had him sign my game. I took a picture.
Did he give you a salute?
He was he was nice.
A Roman salute.
It was him and R.A. Salvatore, and they were both really nice.
To you, of course. Yeah.
And it was,
hey, brother, good to see you.
It was, listen, I don't have blonde hair and blue eyes, okay? Like, my eyes are green.
You definitely, Jay, you definitely look like you would fit in at every one of those rallies.
My hair is brown. I know you don't see the hair very often, but the hair is brown, and my eyes are green. Do not fit in with the prototype, if you will. blonde hair, blue eyes.
Jay, you would definitely fit right in at at a cross burning. Let's keep the fuck. You would blend in a lot better than me for sure.
I thought you were gonna say I would fit right in at Auschwitz.
Oh no!
I was like, damn.
I'll not go there. No. I'm sure Kurt was very happy to see you. Did y'all talk? Do you want to talk World War II with you?
No, you're ruining my night. Yeah, Todd McFarlane was involved with Kingdoms of Amalur 2, but he was not there. And it was a great game. That's the thing that sucks. It was a really good game. But you know, politics, baby.
It bees like that sometimes. Politics.
Biggie Bob, like, it's not even that he convinced the state to do it. They came to him.
Yeah, this is unfortunately a common thing that states do. We see this very commonly in sports with stadiums and stuff. But yeah, and famously with Amazon when they were trying to build, when they're looking for a state to build their headquarters, it was like, oh, there's a big splashy thing coming, and they look at it as an opportunity. Hey, we can create some jobs in the state. We can, get some sweet tax revenue if it becomes a moneymaker for us. So they'll pay to incentivize, an Amazon, or in this case, a Kurt Schilling, to come and do business in the state, because they're thinking, okay, well, if they're going to create some jobs, and if the project is a success, we're going to make that back. We're going to make that money back more, and then some over time in tax revenue, and it can increase tourism. They think of all this stuff. It'll help the state, and sometimes it doesn't work out at all.
Yeah. I feel like if we could go back in time and they had just made the payment, I feel like that studio is still alive, and I feel like they put out their MMO that they were working on that would have been a big money maker. Like, imagine having Todd McFarlane and R.A. Salvatore helping you make an MMO. Like,
was it a World War II MMO?
No, it was like Kingdom of Amalur. It was, dude, Kurt Schilling, like, he tells stories about playing like EverQuest, like those are the type of games he like loved, he was a big gamer. Like, he told a story once when he was with the Diamondbacks. They were in Miami playing the Marlins, and he wasn't pitching, but like in that series, so it didn't really matter. But he like did not leave his hotel room at all, and like he just sat there and played EverQuest for like 24 hours straight.
Oh, he sounds like Henry Cavill, but not awful.
No, you mean awful.
Awful, like, yeah, man, Henry Cavill, but not awful. Like Henry Cavill being the one not awful. Well, some people don't like Henry Cavill, but
some people are wrong.
Yes, as far as we know, he's a perfect man, and who also likes
phrasing.
Nope, I said what I said.
Okay, fair. You heard it. Clip it.
Damn right.
Tweet
it. TikTok it. Repost it. Short it.
Actual quote from Sadot the Gamer. Henry Cavill is actually the perfect man.
That's not a direct quote, but it's
close enough.
It's a close
paraphrase it.
Paraphrasing. I don't think you're going to see anyone disagree.
I mean, I'm sure Linda 4563 is about to tell me her pussy is in the bio.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of those today.
It's unreal. I've been responding to him because it's funny to me.
It is funny that Elon.
Actually,
Musk...
I think I responded to one that responded to you.
Yeah, Elon bought Twitter to get rid of the bots, and as you see,
it's worse than ever.
It's going very well.
A lot of people don't understand how far I'll go for a joke.
Harry Cavill, no life. This is true. Amazon warehouses here in Illinois have been very good for the state with jobs for you. Yeah, every person I've heard who has ever worked in an Amazon warehouse hates it.
We have a building that's been sitting empty for 2 years that Amazon has bought, and they will not use it. They're like just sitting on it right now because the city keeps wanting to tax them at like a ridiculous rate. So they're like, yeah, all right, we'll just make it a parking lot. It's crazy.
There you go. Politics, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to. It's too bad this isn't Super Earth. They let them build wherever you want.
Yeah.
If it's for democracy.
Yeah, for communism.
People are actually going to think you're a communist.
I know. It's kind of funny.
The impressions that you get if you can take so many moments of a JayShockblast out of context and it paints a very confusing picture.
Yeah, because like I just said, people don't understand how far I'll go to make someone laugh.
Jay will lean into the bit.
I will absolutely. You know, like there are definitely times where
unless it's about Starfield.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, he will lean into the bit.
Yeah. I will mostly. Oh, it's fight night in New Orleans.
I'm behind on actually. Did you watch because you mentioned you tried to see the Warriors game. Did you actually watch All-Star Weekend?
I did not watch anything. Like, and I know that Tatum and Brown were playing, and I guess Tatum or Brown dropped 36, which I saw the score though.
I didn't watch the All-Star game. I heard people say it sucked. I watched Saturday night, a bit of it. I watched the 3-point shootout. I watched the Steph Curry Battle of the Sexes 3-point shootout, and I watched the dunk contest.
Was it crazy good? Is that a compliment? No,
that's definitely not a compliment. That was definitely an insult. I felt like I was going crazy because, particularly for the dunk contest. Obviously,
I heard people complain about Jalen.
Obviously, Matt McClung won.
Yeah,
but he should have won a long time ago. Jaylen Brown was in it, and his dunks were terrible. Like
I didn't see him.
Objectively, they were almost all terrible. They were mostly dunks that he would do in the game, and if he did them in the game, you would be like, oh, and they were giving him 50s, and I was like, I felt like I was literally being gaslit, like Kenny was just
just being a hater.
Kenny was like, oh, like he literally at one point, like this was literally, I'm not even exaggerating. This was literally a dunk he did. He put on a Dominique jersey. He ran up off of 2 feet and he did this. That was literally a dunk.
Was he just trying to do the Dominique tomahawk?
Yeah, except he literally just brought it up here and then dunked it like that.
I saw he had like the glove on the left hand.
But the Michael Jackson glove, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it was supposed to symbolize all the people that said he can't dribble with that hand.
But he literally did the most basic dunk I've ever seen in a dunk contest. And they were like 49, 40. I'm like, bro, what the fuck am I watching? Why? And Kenny was just sitting there glazing this man like, oh, I mean, I agree. And meanwhile, Matt McClung is doing the most ridiculous dunks, and they're giving him like 47s. I'm like, what are you doing?
Never thought that Sadot would be hating on the black man and rooting for the white guy.
I call a spade
in the dunk contest.
I call a spade. Matt McClung was the best dunker.
Yeah.
Period. And Jaylen, and I think they literally either Jaylen Brown bribed the judges or they were literally only glazing him because he was a big name. Like I have no other explanation.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch it. The score was like they put like 400 points basically. I will say this though. People were complaining about it and they're like, "Oh, no defense, blah blah blah." And it's like, "No, this is an exhibition game. This is a don't get hurt game."
Yep.
Okay? Like you're not like I'm sorry, like you don't want those guys playing defense. Hard defense because it's not worth getting hurt, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also want them to, I like some of the best All-Star moments were when it was like, all right, they play around, they screw around, and then like the last couple minutes, it's like a heated one-on-one between two guys, and like things get a little more intense, and they start giving a shit, and then we get some really cool shit at the end. I like that. I don't like when the entire thing is just like, wee. It's like, okay.
You got your first Twitter support. He wouldn't be wrong.
Damn right. I have watched. Unfortunately, because of JayShockblast and me having to be here, I only watched about 10 minutes of The Last Airbender episode 1 on Netflix. But from what I've seen, it's getting mixed reactions. I've seen people say it sucks. I've seen people who are definitely saying it sucks for clout, because it's definitely, from what I've seen, it's definitely way better than the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar movie. So I have a feeling that it might actually just be good, and it just might have something that triggered the culture warriors, and they're just lying about it. But I'm gonna watch it to see. I've heard from other people that whose opinions I generally trust that it's just not that good. So I'll give it a shot. But so far, it was fine. So far, the from what I've seen, the bending is actually correct and looks really cool, and is a bit more serious than the Nickelodeon cartoon.
Whoa! Breaking news. Speaking of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr has agreed to a 2-year, $35 million contract extension.
Big bucks.
$17.5 million for a coach.
I mean, Steve Kerr.
I mean, yeah, I feel like Doc Rivers could coach that team to a title.
Well, let's not go that far.
I was so hoping that when Brooklyn fired Jacques Vaughn, that they would hire what's his face that got fired by the Bucks.
Adrian Griffin.
Yeah, I was so hoping they would hire him, and he would lead the Bucks to the Nets to the playoffs, and they'd face the Bucks in the first round and eliminate them.
That would be
like
hilarious.
that would be my dream.
That would actually be hilarious. Doc Rivers, like I love how this like started like a whole beef randomly, like between, what was it, JJ Redick and Pat Bev, because JJ Redick called it like it was, like Doc Rivers always has the excuse for why he sucks as a coach.
Yep.
And Pat Bev's argument was like, oh, you have to be loyal. I'm like, bro, like let's not, like he doesn't have to be, like he's an analyst. His job is to just to analyze basketball and give his honest opinion, not glaze because a coach used to play him when he was playing. Like, who cares if Doc played him, and he definitely played him more than he should have, because but Doc's loyal, but loyalty has nothing to do with, it's the truth. Like Doc Rivers,
I always liked Doc Rivers personally.
He seems like a very nice guy, but he's not a good coach.
But the Celtics should have won 3 world titles with him. Yeah. Like, it's not even like
absolutely factual.
Yeah, they should have beat the Lakers the second time, and they should have beat the Heat in the Eastern Finals that one year.
Doc Rivers is great. He's in general, he's pretty good at rallying guys together. Great chemistry guy, but he when it comes to the X's and O's, particularly when it comes to making adjustments, he sucks.
He was absolutely the reason they lost both of those series, like 100%.
If Doc Rivers is your coach, you need a really good an assistant coach who's basically good enough to be a head coach to be there to make adjustments for him.
Yeah, it's wild to me that he had Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, and only won one title. Like they were in the finals against the late. Like, even if we just pretend, all right, fine, the Heat beat them in that East Conference Finals, even though Celtics had no business losing that. But in that finals against the Lakers, they should have won like 6 out of 7. Like they should have won almost every game, and he blew it. Yeah, Rondo is definitely the problem. I know Rondo got hurt against the Heat, but they still should have beat them. They were in every position to do so.
Yeah.
Like it should have happened.
And it's not just that he's not good. It's like not only does he not get better at his weaknesses like other coaches do, he never takes accountability. Like he always has an excuse, and he's always throwing someone else under the bus instead of just saying, you know what, that was on me. I didn't do what I needed to do. I messed up. Like I remember the knock against Mike Brown was that he was a good defensive coach, but he sucked at X's and like offense. He just couldn't put together a good offense. And then he took some time, bounced around, learned, and then he goes to Sacramento, and all of a sudden, he's put together a great historic offense. Like he's great. Like you always love to see a coach who's not only able to get better but adapt to the personnel that they have. And Doc Rivers never can do either. Like he doesn't adapt, he doesn't get better, he doesn't make his team better. he just sucks.
Yeah.
And he still just gets hired every time. Every time, like he's just the first person they call. And I know Mark Jackson is punching air right now. Every time someone hires Doc Rivers instead of calling him, because I know Mark Jackson would be a better coach than Doc Rivers, but people like Doc, so he gets hired.
Yep.
They don't like Mark. Mark has got himself blackballed, so he ain't coming back. Warriors defense was terrible last year when Brown went to Sacramento. Coincidence? Probably not. But also, Warriors are a weird team. They rely a lot on the performance of their core, and sometimes it's just not there. Like Wiggins was like a max player when they won the title, and now he's a D-League player.
Celtics should beat them too.
To be clear, I'm very happy the Celtics lost. That's probably the best thing about Doc Rivers. he prevented Boston from winning more than one ring in the Big Three era, and for that, I'll forever be grateful to Doc Rivers.
At least he got the one. Thank God for that.
Yeah, I mean, no one's perfect, but
all right, I've reached I gotta go to the bathroom part of my night, and I'm starting to get antsy. So,
yep, I feel very comfortable in my new chair. He didn't go to. I'm saying he's good enough to be a G League player at this point. From what I was from how definitely how he's playing earlier in the season. But yep, Jay, it's time for Jay to take his nappy. He isn't.
WWE Elimination Chamber at 4 a.m. So
definitely subscribe to JayShockblast. Subscribe to Lejeune.
Yes.
In the chat, these are the two biggest Suicide Squad Kill Justice League shills there is. So if you're a big fan of that game, definitely swing by and support their work because they are fighting the good fight on behalf of WB. We'll catch y'all next week, same time, unless Jay has a secret meeting or something, in which case I will happily, or even if he just doesn't feel like it, I'll happily get Miller to replace him. And
why are you so mean to me?
But hold on, what is next week? date wise. March 1st. All right, so the week after next will be Friday the 8th. So that'll be the day after. We might not have an after show that day. The week after on the 8th. So that Thursday is New Game Plus. That Friday might be Suicide Squad season 1.
If the game isn't canceled by then,
if they don't turn off the servers, so we'll see. So we'll keep you posted. So appreciate y'all as usual. I'm Sadot the Gamer.
I'm Casual Avenger.
How dare you know you aren't?
I guess I'm JayShockblast.
Sometimes zip it up and zip it out. Peace, my naysayers.